Good evening. My name is Mitchell Benaroff, and on behalf of myself and my co-chair, Oliver Stanton, for those of you who have been here before, we say welcome back. And for those of you who are here for the first time, we say welcome, and we hope that next year we can say welcome back to you as well. We live in a time of the entrepreneur, the age of the entrepreneur, and entrepreneurial endeavors. Witness Facebook and Instagram and Uber and Waze and many, many more. Those companies and their shareholders have been handsomely rewarded by the securities markets. If you listen and watch, you will see and hear the story of 4 charitable entrepreneurs. You won't hear their names, and you may or may not see their pictures, but what you will see is the results. An earnings report, so to speak, of which the human services market, as opposed to the securities market, should be very, very proud. That market has and should reward these charitable entrepreneurs with continued support. We are that market, you and me and everybody in this room. I want to offer a special thanks coupled with admiration, as well as the promise of continued support to 4 men, our charitable entrepreneurs. 4 men who have inspired me, have caused me to think more openly about the world that surrounds us, and who have heightened my sense of Jewishness and charitable spirit for many years now. They are Rabbi Hillel Zaltzman, who is always 10 steps ahead of everybody else in the room, Rabbi Moshiach Hudaitov, who never gives up on extending my to-do list. Rabbi Binyamin Malakovsky, who is the most effective fundraiser that I have ever met. He is a killer. And Rabbi Ben Zion Laskin, who, aside from being the great white hope, embodies the very best of his mentors. Please listen to and watch our program and learn about and understand Chamah and what it stands for. Before welcoming our Master of Ceremonies, I have 2 thoughts to share. 1, there are a number of people in this room who want to watch the second half of the Giant game. And 2, vote tomorrow. So please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, Rabbi Ben Zion Laskin.
Dear friends, it's an honor for me to be here tonight with you. Once was a man had a food store in Manhattan, and business wasn't going well. So he decided to ask his Jewish friend for advice in business. Ask him, what should I do? He told him, listen, you have so many Jewish clients in your neighborhood. You should do something to attract the Jewish neighborhood. He says, what should I do? Listen, put a sign in your food store, fruits from Israel. He said, you know what? Good idea. He puts in his store, fruits from Israel. In the next week, the business went up. He liked the idea. He says, I need to do something else, something even better. He puts next week, fruits from Jerusalem. And business went even more better. So he decided, I love this idea. Next week, he puts fruits from the Kotel, from the Western Wall. So he asked his Jewish friend, asked him, no, how went your idea? He says, horrible. He says, they all came in, kissed the fruit, and left the store. So my dear friends, I often come across people who have a connection with Chamah. Somebody who was at the Shabbaton, somebody who was at our dinners, somebody who went to our community center in Israel, another who attended our center in Moscow. So just like in our story, these people, so to speak, kissed the fruits and left. But it's our sincere wish that each one of you who came here, maybe some of you first time, came to our organization, to our dinner, you will become part of our mishpocha, part of our Chamah family. Because only together, with each one of you, we can bring more Chamah to the world. Because Chamah in Hebrew is light, is warmth. Together, we can light up the world. And this is our mission. Thank you so much for coming and being with us tonight. We prepared for you a very special program, honoring the best, amazing people. And we'll start with a very special musical performance by internationally award famous Israeli composer, Zlata Razdolina. After achieving great success in Russia, winning a national competition, having her composition performed in the Kremlin, she was forced to flee the country with 3 small children with her hands to Israel illegally. When she came to Israel, she received the Israeli Oscar for music to movies, performed all over the world. One of her sons became a rabbi in Israel. Now, actually, she and her family are thanking to the organization, the Semitic movement that is sent her to Israel, because one became a rabbi in Israel, and the other one standing now in front of you. So I would like to invite my mother, Zlata Razdolina. Together, she composed a special program, Jewish Jazz, klezmer jazz music originally, with a wonderful band, with Yaakov Maiman, the recipient of the Golden Sax of New York 2006, Grammy Award-winning clarinetist and sax player, Yaroslav Bell, violin virtuoso, Dmitry Dimitrov, internationally renowned drummer from Bulgaria, Martin Konfurius, renowned bass player, and Vitaly Golovanov, a jazz trumpet rising star. Together they will now perform for us Jewish Jazz, composed by Zlata Razdolina. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. The beautiful music. You know, once a rabbi, he was called to a court to give a testimony in a certain case. So the judge turned to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, you know what? Can you tell me a few words about yourself? So the rabbi, as he heard these words, he started to tell him, I'm one of the greatest rabbis ever in the world. One of the most wisest persons. One of the most righteous people. I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of principles. I'm such an incredible person. Says, the judge looks on the rabbi and says, Rabbi, in your religion doesn't say anything about to be humble? Says, yes, of course. It's one of the biggest principles of the Jewish faith. But you know, I gave an oath. I need to say only the truth. I must say only the truth. So I was a little hesitant now when I'm presenting the founders of Chamah, Rabbi Hillel Zaltzman, Rabbi Moshe Hudaitov, and Rabbi Binyamin Malachowski, to say so many wonderful things about them. But I need to, because I'm obligated to say tonight only the truth. The rabbis not only founded Chamah and was instrumental in growing a small underground resistance movement into the largest international organization serving Russian Jewry for over 60 years. And now, Rabbi Hillel Zaltzman also, he was able to bring this previously unknown history of Chamah, the underground that preserved the Jewish community during the darkest times of the Soviet Union, into the consciousness of a new generation, through the publication of his best-selling book, Samarkand, that was now published in Hebrew and being translated now to English and Russian. So it's my pleasure to call up on the stage the founder and president of Chamah, Rabbi Hillel Zaltzman, Rabbi Binyamin Malachowski, and Rabbi Moshe Hudaitov to the stage.
I'd like to introduce, I hope it's okay, to introduce a gentleman that happens, I know not for a long time, but we are very close, Mr. Lawrence Benenson. He's a partner and a member of the Benenson Group Investment Committee. His leadership guides the company to near and long-term planning and has helped Benenson Capital Partners to grow and become one of the nation's premier owners and listed properties. There is a lot of things to say about Mr. Benenson. His role in a lot of things, the Institute of the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. He's one of the board members in Meshulam Montefiore Community Center. And I have to read also, the main thing I think, what is the most important, that he is my dear friend. And we exchange SMS and emails every day. Mr. Lawrence Benenson, please.
Thank you very much. I am very honored to be the guest of honor tonight. I'm here tonight because I believe in helping people directly. So does Chamah. Giving food to a hungry person is the most direct way of helping her or him. Chamah prepares over 1,500 meals a day and serves them to Jews and non-Jews in Russia. Every day, over 95% of the people fed happen to be Jewish, but no one is turned away. Chamah has very diverse programs to help people. I'm a big fan of Chamah. I'm also a big fan of voting, which was mentioned here earlier. Tomorrow is election day. Obeying laws, attending jury duty, paying taxes, and voting are all our society asks of us. Of these, casting a ballot is by far the least cumbersome. Remember when you were 10 years old? Would you have ever believed you would not vote? What has changed? We make countless decisions and choices every day. Why on election day? Why on election day do so many of us decide not to choose? Yet, incongruously, we each complain about the Congress. Please vote tomorrow. Devotion is what brought you here tonight. You are devoted to making the world a better place and devoted to Chamah. Vote tomorrow, but stay devoted to Chamah and feeding hungry people wherever they are. See you at the polls tomorrow, and thank you for honoring me tonight.
Mitch Banderoff, Mitch Oliver Stanton. Please come up to make a picture. Later they come up to make a picture. What?
Nothing.
Oh, they come up.
Okay.
Our dear co-international chairs, Mitchell Banderoff and Oliver Stanton, please. Introduce you. No. No, read what says.
Okay.
It's yours, you can read it.
Chamah proudly presents this award to me, our distinguished guest of honor, Lawrence Benenson, whose charitable deeds and generous support touches the lives of tens of thousands, spiritually and materially, worldwide. His kindness and commitment make the world a better place. Chamah 27th Annual Gala Dinner and Concert, New York, Jerusalem, Moscow, November 3rd, 2014. Thank you. This will go, I will hang it probably tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Well done, sir.
We recently read in the Torah, "Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz." In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. And we know that the first day was created light. The sun was created only on the fourth day. The famous question all the rabbis asked, if the sun was created only on the fourth day, why God created what it means that God created the light on the first day? But the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains, in a beautiful explanation, that on the first day God said, "Is there be light?" This was the mission statement of God. When we open a business, we open an organization, a non-profit, we always need to have the mission statement for what this business or this organization states for. When God created the world, His mission statement was, should be light. People need to come to this world, their neshamas, their souls, to bring light to any place where we come. And this is what Chamah is about. Chamah is light. Chamah is warmth. The name of Chamah, this is the mission statement of our organization. This is what we stand for. And this is, even in the most darkest times in the Soviet Union, Chamah was always the organization that was bringing light to thousands of Jews in the underground. Now, in the most difficult times in Russia, when we have the war between Ukraine and Moscow, when thousands of Jews from Ukraine fled from Ukraine to Moscow, who helps them? Who brings them the light? Chamah. When was the war in Israel? Who was helping to thousands of Russian Jews, and not only Russians, in Kiryat Malachi, in all the south of Israel? When was the war? Chamah. When came here the Russian immigration, and we had the simulation, who started to establish Sabbatons and seminars to help the Jews? Chamah. Why? Because the mission statement of our organization is Chamah, is to bring light. And each one of you, by supporting and becoming part, we all together bringing more Chamah and more light to the world. And now I would like to show a presentation of our activities in one of the most difficult times for our nation, for our people in Eretz Israel during the Israeli last war. Please.
This summer, the people of Israel were subjected to the worst violence the nation had seen in decades. From the Hamas-ruled Gaza Strip came relentless rocket and mortar attacks targeting population centers throughout Israel. Some 4,500 missile attacks spread terror and destruction around the nation. The communities of the south closest to Gaza were the hardest hit, with air raid sirens sounding around the clock. With southern Israel under intense fire, Chamah mobilized to care for the physical and mental health of those confined indoors, to run camps for children in the bomb shelters, and to evacuate families to safer communities in the north. All of this is possible only because of your help.
Меня зовут Гроссман Михаил. Я с женой Татьяной уже 24 года в Кирьят-Малахия. Вот то, что мы вступили в этот клуб, как ветеранам войны, там нам оказывают очень большую помощь. Помогают нам с продуктами, с лекарствами, с медицинской помощью. Возвращаясь в памяти столкновением с палестинцами, с Газой, и организация Chamah вместе с клубом ветеранов оказывала нам очень большую помощь, поддержку. А когда уже у нас со здоровьем с женой стало совсем плохо, то благодаря организации Chamah нас на время до окончания войны эвакуировали в Цфат, где тоже была оказана помощь и с жилищными условиями, и с материальным обеспечением. И когда кончились обстрелы, когда было заключено перемирие, при помощи этой организации Chamah мы были возвращены к себе домой. И еще раз я от себя, от имени жены, я хочу высказать благодарность этой организации Chamah, а израильтянам всем, чтобы больше такое не повторялось.
All of this is possible only because of your help.
Я приехала с Украины, с города Херсона. Приехала вместе с сыном и дочерью. Живем в Кирьят-Малахе, в старом доме на 4-м этаже, без лифта, без ничего. Когда началась война, это для нас было очень тяжело. Нас очень пугало, потому что 4-й этаж – это незащищенное место. Надо бежать все эти 4 этажа вниз и бояться за свою жизнь, чтобы не упасть на лестнице. Особенно, когда слышишь, что вокруг Кирьят-Малахи разрываются бомбы. Мы сейчас еще живем в страхе, но я надеюсь, что война это закончится. И спасибо всем людям, которые помогали нам пережить это, и людям, которые разговаривали с нами, чтобы облегчить нашу участь.
All of this is possible only because of your help.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Софа Гринберг. Я живу одна со своим сыном Даниэлем в Кирьят-Малахе. Я мать-одиночка. Мой сын на протяжении 2 лет ходил в летний лагерь, организованный организацией Chamah. Ребенку очень нравился лагерь, было весело, интересно, но, к сожалению, во время проведения операции «Несокрушимая скала» были обстрелы. Привело к тому, что лагерь сейчас в настоящее время не существует, и ребенок стал нервный, плакал, плохо себя чувствовал, ночами не спал, потерял аппетит. Я просто не знала даже, что делать, как ребенка успокоить. Спасибо Chamah, они мне очень помогли, это действительно мои спасители, это люди, которые пришли на помощь. Сделали все для того, чтобы я оставалась с ребенком и не отходила от него. Приходили, приносили поесть, занимались, приходили в квартиру и бомбоубежище, где мы находились. Приходил психолог в форме клоуна для того, чтобы ребенка развлечь, чтобы перестал плакать и беспокоиться. И постепенно ребенок стал чувствовать себя лучше, привязался к клоуну, скучал по нему, лучше стал кушать. Я очень хочу поблагодарить организацию Chamah за то, что они оказали нам большую помощь в самый трудный период нашей жизни. Огромное вам спасибо за ваши добрые сердца, за вашу отзывчивость, за моих друзей, которым вы тоже помогли. И хочу добавить, что вы не только мне помогли, вы спасли нас с нашим сыном, нашу семью и других людей в этот трудный очень период нашей жизни в Израиле. Спасибо вам.
All of this is possible only because of your help.
Dear friends, all what we just have seen on the screens, it's really only possible because of your help. Thank you again. And now, when we just show the video about the Israeli Center and what the Israeli Center does for over 100,000 Russian Jews in Israel, I would like to call upon the stage Rabbi Moshiach Hudaitov, the Vice President of Chamah. Now, everybody looking for Moshiach all the time. When Moshiach will come? Chamah has the solution. We have Moshiach with us. Vice President of Chamah, Rabbi Moshiach Hudaitov.
Good evening. And I would like, on behalf from Board of Directors from Chamah and myself, my family, to thank all of you for here with us. And it is like it's already like history, you know, our activities in free world, it's time, and we have some people they help us from the beginning from our organization. We have here with us Maklar's family, who they are dedicated, their parents, Helen and Harvey, and dedicate their life for land of Israel on the Jewish nation. And we have also here like historical moment. We just was speaking to Mr. Pretzfelder, Mrs. and Mr. Pretzfelder. The first power meeting what was done here in New York, in Riverdale, that was in their house. It was about almost 37 years ago. I'm right? Yeah. Yeah. This is a historical moment. The Maklar's family, they start to help us more than 3 decades here. And through the Joseph Alexander Foundation, they help us every year. On the parents, they was on our board. They was members of our board of directors. They used to attend our meetings, help us, and their input for Chamah, it is indescribable. I would like to call the one, probably Mr. Makler, and then all of you to come. We have a special award, humanitarian award. Please, Ahmad. And I'd like to call Oliver Stanton. This is co-chairman from International Organization from Chamah, who we will give award. Yeah, oh, please. Yeah.
Good evening. It is my great pleasure to introduce the recipients of the Humanitarian Award. The Joseph Alexander Foundation was founded in the 1970s by Mr. Joseph Alexander. Since that time, the foundation has been an unfailing champion of Jewish causes, granting tens of millions of dollars to Jewish institutions in Israel and the U.S. Chamah is very, very fortunate to have a close relationship with the Joseph Alexander Foundation and Alfred and Helen Makler for over 30 years. They have been a driving force behind the Chamah's activities in Israel, and we are delighted that they have been recently become founders of the Chamah Community Center in Kiryat Malachi, dedicating a floor to the memory of Joseph Alexander. On behalf of the Board of Directors, and I am delighted to call up the members of the Joseph Alexander Foundation to present them with Chamah's Humanitarian Award. Mr. Harvey Mackler. Mrs. Randy Mackler Windheim. Ms. Jessica Rosenberg. Mr. Alexander Snyder Mackler. Mr. Justin Wilhelm. Mitch and Rabbi Moshiach Shudakov, please join me in presenting the award.
Yeah, we here. Okay. Well, we would like to call my colleague. I'd like to call my colleagues Hillel Zaltzman and Binyamin Malachowski to join us special to give on Mitch. Mitch, you give it here. Okay, Mitch. Alvin, you read it. Okay. Don't. Yeah.
Try to.
Yeah. In the microphone, yeah.
Right. Chamah presents this humanitarian award to the Joseph Alexander Foundation. Again, naming Harvey Mackler, Randy Windheim, Jessica Rosenberg, Alexander Mackler, and Justin Windheim for their kindness and dedication and many years of generous support. Chamah, the 26th Annual Gala Dinner and Concert in New York, Jerusalem, and Moscow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Never let me near a microphone. Besides, there's a football game. My wife and I have to get back to Tampa to vote, so I'm not going to be here too long. But everything we do in our foundation, we do in memory of my late uncle, Joseph Alexander. He made me promise many, many years ago to never forget he had an uncle. I think we've done a wonderful job in that regard, supporting Eretz Yisrael. And the bracelet I wear is very simple. It says Lador Vador, from generation to generation, from my uncle to my parents, to my sister and me, and my late brother Scott, and now to the nephews and nieces. And just keep doing all the good work you do, Rabbi. Chadayatov.
Thank you very much. I'll be careful.
Again, thank you so much to Mr. and Mrs. Mackler for all your support for so many years. And as mentioned, Mr. Mackler, he said the very special words. He says, everything what we do in a memory to continue the legacy of Mr. Alexander. Each one of us who have relatives who passed away, and we want to continue their life with us. The Talmud says, Yaakov Avinu lo met. Yaakov Avinu didn't pass away. The Talmud says, how possible? It says, Mazar o b'chaim, avhu b'chaim. If his kids continue his legacy, his life, what he believed, his spirit, then he with us. He will continue in his life with us any second. And recently was a story in Israel when a rabbi who was working with outreach, and he happened a tragedy, horrible tragedy. His son, 3 years old son, passed away. And the youth he was working with came to him for yeshiva. So he told Rabbi, we're so touched by your tragedy. We want to do something in memory of your son. We want to keep one Shabbos in our life. So the Orthodox Jews who was sitting in the room says, just one Shabbos, it's nothing. They should say, all Shabbos is in 1 year, but just one. So the father says, you don't understand. I would give everything in my life, my home, everything. I will sell everything just to be one Shabbos, one more day with my son. But when these kids decide to keep one Shabbos, so to be one more day with God, with their father, it's worth anything. So when we continue by supporting and doing what our grandfathers, what our fathers was teaching us and doing, we continue in their lives. And on this note, we were speaking about Israel. We lost over 70 soldiers during this war. And each one of us, by continuing their legacy of the soldiers who died fighting for our country, for Israel, supporting Israel, supporting our activities there, we continue their legacy. And especially in their memory, we have a special presentation of a special song composed by same composer Zlata Razdolina, sung by New York singer Michael Botzman to the memory of the soldiers, fallen soldiers. Please.
Наш брат погиб, и нет на свете. Нам так хотелось просто жить. Взорвалось небо в бронежилете, и только пепел его хранит. В бою жестоком, в туннель под током был должен кто-то один войти. Он был солдатом, ведомый Богом, чтобы бессмертие свое найти. И нет слезам конца и края, горит от боли моя душа. Иерушалаим, страна родная, и ты один, и жизнь одна. И звезды станут белее снега, седою станет твоя осоль. А ты, любимый, и мужем не был, ты стал солдатом и в бой ушел. Теперь с тобою нас не разлучат. Твой автомат в моих руках, и мы с тобою врагов научим. Это время утрат. В бою жестоком, туннель под током, был должен кто-то один найти. Он был солдатом, ведомый Богом, чтобы бессмертие свое войти. Глаза твои, глаза как небо, и навсегда остались сны. Иерушалаим наполнен светом твоей любви, твоей любви.
Thank you. This song was composed by Zlata Razdolina, and their memory of our soldiers, each one of us, we continue by our deeds. because maz aro b'chaim, afhu b'chaim, because this is our mission. And when we're speaking about to continue the deeds of our soldiers who passed away, of our brothers, there's one person in this room who dedicated all his life for this mission. It's Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, our keynote speaker tonight. But before we'll call up on the stage Rabbi Eckstein, we would like to present another presentation from Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein's visit in our center in Chamah in Moscow. Please.
One of the most exciting and important experiences of my life was going to various parts of the former Soviet Union, and particularly Moscow, with Chamah. I cannot tell you sufficiently in words how meaningful an experience that is. And if you haven't had that experience, I hope you will make an effort to do so, because the Jewish teachers, Chazal, our rabbis, say that there's nothing like seeing things. It's not the same as just hearing about them. Ask her how'd she get here.
А вы сюда приехали чем?
На троллейбусе.
She walks.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста, до свидания, на здоровье.
Спасибо. До свидания.
If you were to go to Moscow and be accompanied by a woman like Greta and by someone like Rabbi Zaltzman, as I did with my wife Joelle, then it would be an experience that will stay with you all your life. Na zdrowie! On my recent trip to Moscow, I visited the Chamah institutions. I've had for many years a love for the work of Chamah. And what I saw this time was elderly people waiting online to receive food packages. I saw an elderly man, an academician, someone who had given his life for Mother Russia and had contributed so much to society. And then, nothing. Then he's found in a situation where he doesn't have enough money just for basic necessities to live. And that's where Chamah came in. Chamah stretched out a hand to this academician, this elderly man, to thousands of other elderly men and women, so that they would not have to make a choice that I don't wish on anyone, between food and medicine, heating fuel and rent. Their pensions are insufficient to cover all of these items. And so what Chamah does, it helps them to be able to afford doing all the things that they need.
To present the award to Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein and his wife Joelle, I would like to call up on the stage President of Chamah, Rabbi Hillel Zaltzman.
It's more than a privilege to invite this kind of gentleman, my dear friend Yechiel. When I begin to write in my email, I will tell you, almost tears come from my eyes, just the feeling that I have to this gentleman. I cannot dedicate his life. He gave away his whole life, not only for Israel, but he did now with the war with Hamas. You cannot imagine. One time he has to travel, and he told at the airport already, Yechiel, I'm sorry for saying that, he didn't feel well, and he went to the hospital. And after that, he traveled all over the United States to raise money to save Israel. and he raised his money to save every Jew in the world. He came to, he's going to Siberia. He came to Moscow. It's a big privilege that he came to Moscow to see the work we do. I can talk about him for hours, what he did, what he accomplished for Israel, for the Jewish people in the world. Travels to Hong Kong, to wherever you want. He is there to help Jews, to save money to raise money for Jews, and to help Jews. This is Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein. Please, Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, allow me the privilege, and I'm pleased that he is today the keynote speaker, and I believe he will tell us certain things that was not in the official news. I don't have what to say for you.
Chamah presents this Guardian of Israel Award to our dear friend and generous supporter, Rabbi Yechiel Z. Eckstein, founder and president of the IFCJ, for saving Israel and millions of Jews around the world. Chamah, 27th Annual Gala Dinner and Concert, New York, Jerusalem, Moscow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And he's, whenever I see him and he see our activities in Moscow, he says, I have to give you more. I have to give you more. So every time, he's never satisfied.
Okay, genug. So a Jewish guy goes into a Jewish bakery and he asks them, he asks the guy who's selling bakery, how much is a chali? I need a chali. Chali is $25. A chali for $25, that's a lot. Why is it so much? He said, well, $5 for the chali, $20 for Israel. Okay, he wasn't planning to give money for Israel, but he'll buy the chali. How much is a cheese Danish? Cheese Danish, that's $50. $50 for a cheese Danish, that's ridiculous. Yeah, $10 for the Danish, $40 for Israel. Finally, he asked them, well, how much is a babka cake? You know what a babka cake is? You eat it with coffee. How much is a babka cake? $100. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm not paying for $100 for lunch. I want to talk to the manager. Have the manager come out here, please. So the guy screams out, Israel, there's someone who wants to talk to you. I just came from Israel last night. That's a good segue, no? Into the. I came from Israel last night, and while I'm off to California tomorrow, Mirz Hashem, I would not miss this dinner. And I realized that there's a football game going on, and I realized that the only thing standing between me and the food, between you and the food, is me. So let me just say a few words. I have been blessed with having started something some 37 years ago and devoted my life to it, and that is building support for Israel and the Jewish people. The things that you don't know, probably about what we do, probably number about 50% of what, if you follow the news, you do know. What I can tell you, since Hillel asked me to say something that you don't know, and that is that our funds, we are now the largest organization of its kind in the world. We raise $150 million from Christians, mainly from Christians. Our average gift is $75. We have no $1 million gifts. We have no $500,000 gifts. We have maybe a handful of $200,000 gifts. We get 6,000 envelopes a day with a story attached to each one. Like the story that I often tell, if you heard it already, we get thousands of stories, but this one struck me, of a single mother who sent us $25 a month. And she once explained the story of why it's $25 a month that she sends to us to help Israel and the Jewish people in need. And she wrote how she doesn't have a lot of money. She has a couple of kids, and she works, and the one pleasure that she has in life really is having a latte at Starbucks as she goes into work. And then she realized that if she went across the street to McDonald's, she would be able to get a latte for $3.50 instead of $5 from Starbucks. And she'd be able to save $1.50 every day to help Jews in need. I am humbled by the Mesiras Nefesh, the sacrificial nature of our donors who make our gifts to help groups like Chamah possible, who make gifts to help the IDF, where we give approximately $6 million each year just for the IDF, where we have a program, thanks. We have a program now helping elderly in Israel of $27 million, providing them food and clothing. We have a program that nobody knows about, which now I can divulge, but where we provide security to Jewish institutions that are threatened around the world. We provide security for the Batei Chabad, all the Chabad houses that are threatened. After what happened in Mumbai, the terrible tragedy that happened to the Chabad house, to the heads of the Chabad in Mumbai and India, I made a commitment. We are going to do everything possible. And so Nepal and Kathmandu and Thailand and Ukraine, where I've been 4 times in the past few months, where we set up an evacuation plan in Odessa for 3,000 Jewish children if they need to be evacuated, where we set up a program of providing food because in Ukraine the cost of food and medicine has gone up 3 times what it was just a year ago. And elderly who have to live on just so little can't spread that. I come here on behalf of the thousands of elderly Jews in Moscow, especially that I have seen, who go in a bus for 2 hours each way to come to the Chamah Center, to have some friends, to meet others, to get food, to stealthily take the food home when we know that they're taking the food home so that they can give it to their other family members or so that they will have lunch for the next day. I've seen Chamah in action, and I want to take this opportunity to first of all say thank you to you for coming this evening, for making this evening, and for making the work of Chamah possible. As the film said, all of this is possible because of you. I want to especially, and I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget, because as I get older, I forget more and more. Lawrence Benenson, Oliver Stanton, Mitchell Benra, and the many people who have made the work of Chamah possible. I can only bless you and say to you that I hope and pray that this will be a blessing to you, that you will realize that by giving, you're really receiving more than what you're giving. And you're bringing light and joy to thousands of people through the work of Chamah. You're helping literally people survive. This organization is not a fuzzy type of a help. It literally now, before the winter, helps people survive. Without the help of Chamah, and I say this out of knowledge, without the help of Chamah in Moscow in the next few months, there would be people who would die. You are saving lives. And so I want to thank you. And finally, I want to flip this because I realize that we're always thanking the donors, and we should. But the reality is we donors who give tzedakah have our duty, have an obligation to give tzedakah. But we can't do it sitting here in New York or Connecticut or Chicago. We need people to help us fulfill our mitzvah in the flesh, on the ground, boots on the ground. And so Rabbi Saltzman, Greta, all those who devoted themselves litzorchei tzibur be'emunah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yivarech yason, bless you with much good health by enabling us to fulfill the mitzvah of chesed, of kindness and compassion. Because of this, and I will finish now, our donors have contributed significantly more this year. 15% more this year than last year. And they've given beyond their capacity. There are people who give up having a new car in order to help. These are non-Jews. Certainly, each of us can do better. Whatever we're doing is wonderful, is great, but I doubt that we would notice it if we gave more. And so the fellowship, on behalf of our donors, I'm proud to announce that we are increasing our contribution for next year from $900,000 to $1 million.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Eckstein, for your devotion, for your true love and support of our nation, of our people, of our organization. You know, one day on a cold and a snowy morning in Moscow, Soviet citizens are lined up for 5 blocks awaiting the shipment of meat from Odessa. After an hour, the loudspeaker announces that the shipment are smaller than expected, and they ask all the Jews to leave the line. In an hour later, they say, actually, we're receiving much less than we expected. We ask everybody who is not a member of the Communist Party, please leave the line. After a few hours of standing in the snow, they announced that actually all meat was spoiled, so everyone asked to leave except the members of the Politburo, of the government of Russia. And after waiting another 4 hours, they're announcing to the members of the government, the Politburo, we apologize, but won't be any shipment this time. So one of the members of the Politburo, he says to another friend, those Jews, they always have it easy. But we know in these days, it's not easy in Russia. We're going through a very difficult moments. But Chamah in Moscow is doing its maximum to serve over 30,000 Jews there. And I would like this moment to present, to call up on the stage, Mrs. Greta Ellenson, our director, the CEO of Chamah in Moscow. Please welcome Mrs. Greta Ellenson.
Dear friends, I am very happy to present here
at our annual dinner event. Today, I would like to share with you some facts about the work of Chamah branch in Moscow. During last 2 years, there have been a number of big changes in our programs. In addition to our exciting service programs like Charitable Soup Kitchen, Patronage, and other 25 programs that have been in place for many years helping elderly people to survive, we launched new medical programs such as memory preservation for patients with Alzheimer's disease, rehabilitation program for people who survived heart attack, stroke, patients with fractured bones and hips. And I am very glad that these programs not only help our patients to speed up their recovery progress, but also enable their relatives to free up some time for their work. I also would like to let you know that it has been 2 years since the opening of our wonderful children's center. Unfortunately, there are 65 handicapped kids who receive care in that center. In our children's center now, 600 handicapped children. With great pride, I am happy to report that we now officially deployed our medical center building that took so many years to build. The medical center provides outpatient services to our elderly patients and kids. It's obvious that we would not be able to provide any of those services without help from our close friends, our sponsor. Thank you so much, Mr. Oliver Stanton, Mitchell Benierov, Mr. Tom Kirby with their fund, and many, many other kind persons who helped us. I especially would like to thank Rabbi Eckstein and his wife Joel, who has been supporting us through difficult times. With the money Rabbi Eckstein donated to us, we purchased a school bus, built a wonderful playground, and purchased special equipment for our handicapped children. Thank you, Rabbi Eckstein, very, very much. He is a terrific person, absolutely. On behalf of the parents of our young patrons, I would like to thank you again for your great help. Please accept our deep appreciation for your help, Rabbi Eckstein. I always invite everyone to visit in Moscow our kind and so necessary for many people organization. I also would like to thank my colleagues in New York, in Jerusalem, who in spite of all financial difficulties have been trying to support us. Let's pray to Hashem for peaceful sky above, friendship between people, and that we always remember to help those who would not be able to survive otherwise. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ellenson. And now I would like Rabbi Eckstein, please to invite Rabbi Eckstein, who is not only a brilliant speaker, but now we all will hear how he is a brilliant singer. Please, Rabbi Eckstein, he is our surprise for tonight with the guitar. Please.
Okay, one song and then we get to eat. Or you get to eat, I'm not. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו, אמרו אמן, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו, אמרו אמן, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה shalom, he will bring shalom to us and all the world. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Everyone, Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. He will bring shalom, he will bring shalom to us and all the world. Shalom, 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 shalom on Israel. Thank you.
I'm going to introduce somebody who really is entitled to your attention. He is a very, very special fellow who has done a great deal for Chamah. I'm going to read a little bit of his bio, and this guy is really the real deal. Thomas B. Corby has been a driving force behind Chamah since 2010. Mr. Corby is president of the Erwin Rautenberg Foundation and a member of the Cutting Edge Grant-Making Committee for the Jewish Community Foundation of Los Angeles. He has been a major contributor to Chamah's humanitarian work with children and seniors overseas and was instrumental in founding the first Jewish medical and rehabilitation center in Moscow, Russia. Mr. Corby founded Corby & Corby accountancy firm in 1984. As a forensic accountant, he has extensive experience in business litigation-related analysis for all types of businesses. He has given testimony as an expert witness before the Supreme Court of the State of California more than 50 times. He is also president of TBC Energy Partners, an oil and gas development company, as well as president of Westside Professional Group and former president of the National Association of CPAs. His outstanding support and tireless efforts on behalf of the first Jewish Medical and Rehabilitation Center have earned him the Chamah's Founder Award.
Thank you very much. Our organization, our foundation, gives to many charities, and a lot of them are in Israel, and they're very worthwhile. But when I heard about Chamah and the work that they do in Russia, I was very impressed. And after several years of giving to Chamah without actually seeing what they've done, I felt that my wife and I needed to go to Russia and really see for ourselves what was going on, especially since they asked us to help found the medical building that they were building in Moscow. We went there a little apprehensive of what Russia was going to be like, but once we got there, we were extremely well taken care of, and it was so impressive what we saw there. All of the elderly Jews that they feed, which you saw in the video, and the medical building that is being built. It's finished, but they have to complete the interior with a lot of medical equipment and supplies. So after seeing that, we became firm believers and can plan to continue to give substantial amounts for years to come.
I'll quickly read this award. Haba presents this Founders Award to our dear friends Thomas and Tricia Corby. Tricia, I don't know why you're not up here, but of the Erwin Rautenberg Foundation for their generous support and tireless efforts on behalf of the First Jewish Medical and Rehabilitation Center in Moscow, Hama, the 27th Annual Gala Dinner and Concert, New York, Jerusalem, and Moscow. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Tricia.
We just have one video presentation of the Shabbaton, and right after we have the concert.
Shabbaton is filled with full action, with seminars and food and activities for each and every person.
To any level of Jewish observance and knowledge.
Huge event that gives us the strong feeling that we are together.
You have people here from Canada, you have people here from other parts of the country. Germany, Ukraine, everywhere you can think of. Close to 1,000 people.
I came all the way from Russia to the Shabbaton, 5,000 miles.
The amenities are wonderful. It's a beautiful hotel, very large, spacious. There's a lot of room for kids. It's definitely conducive to having a good time.
The food was fantastic, first class.
The variety of food is endless. There is a lot of it.
Friday, 3 meals, 4 meals, and then at night, and then breakfast, and then snack, dessert, and then dessert again, and this food and lunch, and there's so many things.
And most importantly, the speakers are amazing.
There's something to learn for everyone. They're geared to beginners, intermediaries.
And there were classes offered in English and Russian.
It helps your body, it helps your mind. You become more clear about what you really need in life.
Being able to talk to the lecturers one-on-one and ask them questions and have really interesting conversations.
There's a kids program. All the kids are having fun.
Which means that parents could be really sitting in lecture halls and focusing on what what they're hearing. Tremendous convenience, and kids love it.
And also people that are single, opportunity to meet their other halves over here.
For many people, it's their first exposure to Shabbat. For others, it's an opportunity to learn more.
We also had a comedian, his name was Modi, and he was just hysterical. I mean, I was practically laughing to tears.
The music tonight was amazing. It was incredible.
We were dancing, we were singing.
It's our second time on the Shabbaton, and I want to say that each time is getting better and better.
It was very organized.
This has been absolutely fabulous.
I enjoyed it immensely.
It's really very meaningful for me, and I'm grateful for all the organizers of this wonderful event for the opportunity to be here.
I'd recommend it to anyone to come along, even if you're not a Russian-speaking native. As for me, I'm originally from Australia, 24 years in Canada, but was very inspired by this weekend.
Taking back a more profound sense of understanding of my Jewish identity and also more interest in my Jewish identity.
The inspiration we get from here is get us through the year.
I'm taking home energy for the whole year.
And it's something everybody should experience.
I would definitely highly recommend it.